guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Vermilion Cowboy, and I am just doing my update for week 3 of Roehl GYCDL program. So we went over weeks 1 and 2, and then now we're getting into week 3. Week 3 is the final week in the program, and I'll just kind of share my experiences with that and how everything has gone so far. So as we went into week 3, Monday morning, we did more of the same. So I think my group, there's 3 people in my group, and we took turns just driving around the city to get really familiar and with the areas that the tester may or may not take you for the driving road part of the test. And we would do that, kind of refine some of the things that each of us were kind of maybe struggling on, whether that be like shifting or head checks, checking street signs and things like that. And that was most of the day. We did a little bit of backing that day, but yeah, Monday was kind of actually a rough day for me, at least. We had like what you would call like a practice test. So the groups would like switch instructors. So our instructor went out riding with another group, and that other group's instructor came in riding with us, and they would kind of mark down like points as if it was an actual test. And so mine was like really bad. Like it was just an off day for me. Things just weren't working. I was grinding gears, and I think I killed the truck one time at a stoplight, and I even ended up, this wasn't totally my fault, but I even ended up going down the wrong way in a construction zone. So the instructor, he said go straight, so I went straight, but it just happened to be that straight took us down like oncoming traffic. There was no traffic because it was morning, but still, yeah, that didn't make me feel too great about the day. So that was a rough Monday. Tuesday was an interesting day. 2 guys in our class, they already were testing on Tuesday, which is, that's wild because, that's more like a 2-week program, 1 day on a Monday, and then you test on your 3rd week. So that's super quick. But so those guys were the first test out of our class. And while they were doing that, we just did the same thing. We more driving around with our instructor, trying to get a little bit better at everything. And Tuesday was a better day for me, right? We got the information that the 2 guys that had tested that did pass. The first guy, he smoked it. He got great scores. He did really good. The second guy, he did all right, but he still passed, so that was good. And by the end of the day, we were able to do some backing, but just like one time each person in our group. So we have 3 people in our group, so we each got to just practice the offset and the 90 just one time, which was wasn't great because it was going fine, but the next day, Wednesday, was my test day, so I had hoped to get in a little bit more backing time on Tuesday. I think our day got cut short because we did some simulator. We did like winter sims in the morning, and that took like 2 hours. So, but by the end of the day, it just happened to start snowing in Marshfield, and it was snowing pretty good, and it just kept snowing and snowing. That night after I got back to the hotel, I had to go to Walmart and buy a damn snow brush just to get the snow off my car. I think we got like 3 or 4 inches, but you can imagine how I was feeling. Like I had to test Wednesday. My original test time was 11 o'clock, and Tuesday at the end of the day, he's like, oh, by the way, we moved your test time up to 8. I was like, oh, all right. I was fine with that. I wanted an earlier test time, but just hearing that at the last minute, So with the snow coming in Tuesday night, and then my practice test getting moved up to the morning, I was pretty sure that snow was not going to melt by the time I was going to take my test in the morning. So, and just so I don't know if you know or not, but when you're doing the 90, it don't matter so much for the offset, but when you're doing the 90 in the snow, that trailer doesn't react like it usually does. No, it's completely different. If you're too tight coming in on that cone on the driver's side, like it don't matter what you do, that trailer's just going to slide tighter. Yeah, that was wild. So Wednesday came around, test day, right? I was like a nervous wreck, man. Like I was trying to stay as calm as I could. So on test day, what you do is when you come in, usually you come in, you get the keys, and you start heading out and you do your pre-trip and all that stuff. And all the different classes, they kind of go their own way or whatever. But if it's test day for you, you got to go into this like little room. It's like really little, and you wait there for the tester, and the tester goes over how the test is going to go, and he goes over that with everyone who's testing that day. So you're all in this tiny little room, and I mean, you already got anxiety and nerves are high, and now you're stuck in this little room. And I was the second one to test. Another guy was testing at 7. So while he was testing, I was just sitting in this little room, just trying not to get too worked up. Because it was crazy. I almost feel like I had like some tunnel vision that day. I don't really remember a whole lot because I was just kind of like just trying to hone in, trying to not lose my mind. Yeah, and I know it's something as simple as a CDL test, but when you've been there for so long, you just kind of figure, well, you don't want all the time you've been there to have been wasted, you know. So finally, my instructor comes in after I've been waiting. You know, I didn't know what the hell was going on. My instructor comes in. He's like, hey, you're supposed to be in the truck. The tester, you know, he's waiting for you. I was like, oh shit. So I ran out to the truck, met the tester, and then I began the test. And went into it nervous, but I went into it also confident, knowing my stuff. So we started with the pre-trip. We did the pre-trip. I think I got Form A, which it was not the whole truck and tractor. It was just the engine compartments, the side of the tractor, and a coupling system. So that was fine. Yeah, I just smoked that part of the test. Then we did the in-cab and the brake test. They teach it to you in two separate tests, or like two separate things. Like here's your in-cab and here's your brake test. But if you do it correctly, you just do your in-cab and you roll it right into your brake test, and it really doesn't need to be. It doesn't take that long. It could take like 5, maybe 10 minutes. But when you're looking at it on the information sheet, it's like, wow, this is going to take like an hour. No, it's super quick. So did that portion of the test. In-cab and brake test was really good. The instructor was giving me good feedback, or not the instructor, but the tester. He was giving me good feedback. He would say, all right, you did a great job on this portion of the test. Now we're going to move into this portion of the test. So things were moving along good. I was like hot, you know, sweating bullets, but still things were doing good. So then we went into the backing course, and the backing course is not the same course that you've been practicing on. I mean, it's set up the same way for offset, straight back, offset, and then 90, but it's a different course. So you have not practiced on this specific course. They keep her separate from the other place, and they kind of hide it behind this building. I don't know if it's so people can't watch while people are testing, because then maybe it makes people nervous, or because they don't want people to see, like, or go over there and like make little marks in the ground so people know where to like stop and shit. But so we went over there. He explained each one at a time. So it was scripted. So he would read like the straight back, blah blah blah. This is this and that. This is what we expect, and this is what you can get as far as like pull-ups or get out and look or whatever. And so he went through that one at a time. So we did the straight back, no problem. We went up and did the offset, no problem, and then got into my 90, and I was actually set up pretty good for it. I had one extra pull-up, and I don't even think I really needed to do it. I wanted to be straighter. I was in the hole, but I felt like I could have been a little bit straighter. So out of 13 points, points being bad on the backing skills test, I only got 1 point. So that's not too shabby. So then, you know, I was just going through each test one by one, and you know, I kind of kept telling myself, all right, well, you're still doing good. You're moving on to the next part. You know, you haven't had to stop yet. Maybe you'll be able to pull this off. So then we went into the driving portion of the test, and that's where you really get nervous because there's so many ways to auto fail on the driving portion of the test. A few quick ways that you can auto fail is if you hit a curb, which a lot of people do. That first curb just pulling out of the yard, people hit that. That's an auto fail. And even if you hit it, they'll have you run through the whole test before you get back, and they say, yeah, that curb, yeah, you failed. If you go over the speed limit, or if you impede traffic, so if you go too slow under the speed limit, that's an auto fail. Luckily for me, there was still snow on the ground. So Roehl wants you to adjust your speed due to weather conditions. So if it's not ideal weather conditions, you drive the safe speed due to those conditions. So I was like driving like more cautiously, so I was going a little bit slower just to ensure. So that being able to go a little slower, that helps you not get close to going over the speed limit. So that was good. So we went through that. I was doing really good. It makes you nervous, you know, as you're driving, and you see him, he's like marking things down on his thing. You know, he said before the test, like, you'll see me marking things down. It doesn't mean it's good. It doesn't mean it's bad. But still, while you're driving, you see him marking stuff down. You're like, oh, shit. But, so we got through that. Went around. It probably took about 45 minutes, and then finally got back to the yard. And by the time I got back there, I was feeling pretty good that I think I did it. I think I passed. And then he has you go back, and then he tells you to park, hit your brakes, throw the keys in the cup holder, and then he goes over his notes. And so what he had for me was, so you can get 30 points. You can get no more than 30 points on this test and no auto fails. So he says, first he told me, you know, I got the 1 point on the backing skills, I was really happy with that. No, you know, I would have been happy with 0, 2, but 1 is not bad. Then he goes over the driving, and he's like, you got 5 points. And I was pretty happy about that. 5 points is not bad at all. I think one of my buddies who went the day before, he only got 3. But I think the record is 2 points for the entire test. So having a 5, that's not bad. So I was really happy with that. And then he just went over this and that, and what you know, how I can, you know, what I could do to improve, and had some really good feedback. So I was happy with that. So what he does from there is he enters in your scores and your passing whatever into a system called C-STEMs, and it's a national network system. So by the time you get to the DMV back in your home state, it's gonna already show your pass, and you're gonna be all ready to get your paperwork or your documents or whatever you need. So so that was that. I was just super happy it was like a weight off the shoulders, because since the beginning of week 3 on Monday, just you worry so much that this ain't, you know, you don't want to go home with your tail between your legs, and you just couldn't cut it. And also, if you don't pass, you end up having to stay a 4th week, unless they think you're really not going to do it. You gotta stay 7 days to retest. So who wants to do that? The whole rest of your class goes home, and you're having to stay 7 days to retest. No one wants to do that. And I was about ready to get the hell out of that hotel anyway. So yeah, I felt like there was a lot riding on it. So I like put a lot of pressure on myself, but I got through it. It was great. And somehow all the instructors, like, I don't know, the tester must have texted them all or something, because they all knew, like, you know, they were out doing their own thing, because, you know, still practicing for the other students or whatever, but everybody kind of knew. One of the instructors was, you know, giving me shit, and he's like, you know, how much did you pay that tester for those scores? But I don't know, good times. So I got back to the office, and I ended up getting, I got the official $7,000 rail hat, the graduating rail hat, the diploma, the rail diploma, if you will. But yep, here's the hat. I wore it on the first day because I was pretty damn proud, but then I figured, I probably shouldn't wear this, just because who wants to, I don't want to lose it or ruin it or anything. This is a big deal for me. I came out here wanting this thing real hard. I wanted this bad. And they sell hats at Rail, but you can't buy this one. This one you need to earn it. So I'm pretty proud of this damn hat right here. So that is cool. But I was able to go to maintenance and pick up this hat. So I am able to have a Rail hat. They had a ton of different hats, and I bought a few different ones. And what you do, they don't accept cash or check or card. What they do is you fill out a sheet and they deduct it from payroll. So they'll just take it right out of your next check. So that's great. But yeah, that was my experience. So coming out of that, the rest of the day was just kind of paperwork. They already set you up with your fuel card. They print off your driver certificate. They give you some paperwork to let you know what you're going to do when you get back to your home state and how you're going to get that process rolling with your DMV and all that. And then the next 2 days was securement training for me. So I'm the only flatbedder in my class, so it was just me. So Thursday was all classroom securement training, learning everything in the book. There was a little quiz at the end of it, and there's quite a bit to learn in securement training for flatbed. So if you don't want to do extra, like a lot of extra on top of the driving, you may not want to do flatbed. I have kind of an interest in it because it seems like kind of like a puzzle, because it's not just throwing straps over things. You got to know what kind of commodity or article of cargo it is, how much it weighs, and then you got to run through a mathematical formula to figure out how many and what type of securement equipment you need. So are you going to use 3/8 chains? Are you going to use 5/16 chains? Are you going to use 4-inch nylon straps? What kind of tighteners are you going to use? Are you going to use binders? Are you going to use snap ratchets? Yeah, so there's quite a bit of stuff, and I didn't even get into tarps yet, so I'll probably learn that in phase 2. But so then on Friday it was more securement training and a test at the end of the day, but this was more in the this was on the range, more physical, like hands-on securement training. So they had some like dummy trailers out in this out in the back under this covered like building, and then they had these loads on it like spools, coils, metal coils, a stack of lumber, different things. And then the securement training instructor would say, all right, here's your load, do the math, secure this load. So you would have to run through the math. You would have to get out the book, get a calculator out, and you have to figure it out. And then here's your equipment, and then you apply that to each load, just so you get some hands-on experience with that. And then once you're in phase 2, at least you know what the hell the trainer's talking about when he's like, hey, go get some ratchet binders, or hey, I need you to secure these straps, or whatever. So that was Friday, and then at the end of Friday was a test, a securement training written test. You had to get 70% or better. I got an 89, so that was good. No problems there. Then Friday night was my class and we went down to the hotel restaurant and bar just to kind of have an exit celebration. So that was good times. Everybody came down. Everyone passed but one guy in our class. That was hard because we really wanted him to pull through, but he was still in good spirits and joined us that night. He's going to stay week 4 and he's going to pull it off next week. But we all went down and enjoyed a few adult beverages. I think we exchanged, contact numbers with each other, and we had dinner together and kind of relaxed for the night. We didn't stay up too late though, because Saturday you have a class, and after class you start heading home, and that's a long drive for most of us. So Class was brutal though. It was Angry Bob. He did the lecture, and God love him, you know, he's great. But man, he could tell stories. So like in the middle of the lecture, he would like go off on a story, and then off topic, he'd go on another story, and you know, plus you know that at the end at 11:30 at the end of this class, you're going to be heading out. So of course, every hour is just kind of dragging by. So that was rough. That was a hard one. But 11:30 hit. And that was it. We had already checked out Saturday morning, and our cars were packed, and 11:30 hit, and we were on get ready to head on home. So home time, I'm looking very much forward to home time with my girls and my oldest son. Yeah, they're preparing a nice dinner for me, and they have some good plans for us while I'm home. So however, now, you know, as soon as home time starts, it already seems like I'm on the clock. So before I did leave Roehl on Friday, I had some Zoom meetings with operations manager in Gary, Indiana, and there was another class in Gary. That must be where the rest of the flatbedders are. So just me and Marshfield and the rest of the flatbedders of this group were in Gary. So, and she was getting us all set up and this and that, and then she's like, yeah, you guys will be shipping out next Thursday or sooner. So I was like, oh, holy shit. I don't know what it was, but I had this expectation of like 7 days at home, and I was going to get some things done and this and that, but that's not the case. A few reasons. They don't want you to they don't want your skills to dip too far. By the time Thursday comes, I'll have not driven a truck for a week, or doing any securement or math or anything like that. So yeah, I get that. And they just want to get you on the road. They don't want there to be any dips in your payroll and all that. So I don't know exactly where, when, or with who, as far as the trainer or the fleet manager is yet, but I will find that out probably tomorrow. I'll get to the DMV as soon as I can this week, get my CDL Class A like switched over or whatever needs to happen with that, and then I need to do some shopping and start preparing to head back out. So I was looking forward to home time, but it already feels like the home time clock is running out. So I'm gonna take some time to relax with my wife and kids and enjoy some nice home-cooked meals, and really just kind of soak up everything that home has to offer, because going right into phase 2. So that is my week 3. That's my week 3, and that's how it went. It was pretty good. It was pretty crazy, but pretty good at the same time. You know, when I was in week 1, I thought to myself, man, seems like such a long time till I'll see week 3. Then I got to week 3 and I was like, holy shit, we're already in week 3. I already got a test. So, but that's the week 3 experience with the Roehl GYCDL program, and so far so good. Phase 2 is coming up, and I think I might actually do one more video before phase 2 starts. I think I'll just do kind of like a recap of my thoughts and opinions and how I feel about Roehl as a company. So I think I might just do a separate video for that. But thanks again for tuning in, guys. I appreciate it. This is Vermilion Cowboy, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.